Most people don't stay broke because they're lazy or stupid. Most people stay broke because their life feels comfortable. Comfort doesn't ruin your life loudly, guys. It keeps you comfortable enough to never change it and not do anything about it. And that's why so many people stay broke even when they know what they should be doing. They just disregard it and go back to those comforting ways. Most people already know what they should do with their money. Save more, spend less, invest some of your money in the S&P and let it all work out. What Lil Wayne said. But in today's world, there's just so much information. We are in the information age, and if that was all people needed, then so many more people would be rich. You know what I mean? Everybody would have some sort of security when it comes to their finances. But I believe that the real problem here is focus. We live in an information age where there's constant stimuli, constant comparisons outside in the world. You're scrolling on TikTok, you see people with large amounts of money, you start to compare yourself, and it's just you become overstimulated, and that depletes your dopamine. And you need that dopamine to feel disciplined about something, to find some sort of purpose in your life. But if you waste it all on scrolling on TikTok and on Instagram Reels, then you're just depleting your energy. So you can create, you're not creating, you're just consuming everything around you. And that's what I think the real problem is, especially in today's age. Dopamine just keeps you busy while your real life is still running on wheels. You know what I'm saying? Comfort is almost seductive because it really requires nothing of you. Scrolling for hours feels good to a certain extent. Being distracted feels good. Avoiding your problems can feel good in the moment until you actually have to face the music and face those problems that you've created. But one thing about comfort, guys, is comfort never asks if your life is actually improving because of what you're doing. Comfort never asks, hey, am I actually making progress in my life? Am I doing what I love to do? And this is why I believe that people just don't stick to anything these days, whether it comes to side businesses, regular jobs, relationships. Real progress is boring at first. It requires that patience, that determination, and really that slow progression in order to really understand what you're doing and really fall in love with the process so you can actually improve once you've earned it, once the time has come for you to earn that sort of dopamine hit when you are working so hard. We quit not because something doesn't work, but because it's going too slow. I feel like, especially people my age, 22, I feel like the amount of instant gratification that's just thrown out at us, it's overwhelming. And it really hurts our ability to focus and especially our attention span. It affects all aspects of our lives. And I know this, guys, because I lived it. There was a point in time where I knew what I should be doing. I knew where to spend my money, and I knew how to build my credit and change my life for the better. But it was the TikTok and the Instagram Reels that kept me in, just scrolling and scrolling just because it felt comfortable at the time. I didn't want to face the music. I didn't want to make my problems real, because if I avoided them for however long it took, then I wouldn't have to deal with it. But at some point, you gotta face your problems. Nothing felt like terrible, but nothing was improving either. And that's when I realized that comfort was the problem. Not laziness, not the lack of information, but just staying comfortable and not being aware of I'm scrolling too much, or not being aware of the fact that you are being distracted right now. This is not going to improve your life in any way. Progress feels boring before it feels rewarding. The life most people want is just hidden behind the boring work that you need to do. It's a necessity, but it's just people stop once things get a little challenging. That's when their fight or flight mode activates. But instead of fight or flight, they become docile and they just lay on their bed for hours and scroll on TikTok. You know what I mean? And so when you notice yourself scrolling mindlessly or avoiding checking whatever bank account, whatever credit card company you have, and just like telling yourself, "Oh, I'll do this tomorrow," or "Oh, I won't worry about this now because this is going to overwhelm me." It's really just a problem within regulation. How are you regulating yourself throughout your day? I don't think it's a lack of motivation. I believe if you're able to regulate your emotions and your actual purpose in life, you can almost diminish those distracting things almost entirely. If not, you can definitely keep them in moderation. And I believe instead of forcing productivity on yourself and going completely cold turkey, I feel like the first move should be to slow yourself down. It's very easy to become overstimulated, and that springs up anxiety and stress for no reason, just because of the fact that you have so many things going around you, so many noises and sound effects, especially rolling, things like that. You're so stimulated by so many different things going on at the same time, and that creates anxiety, and anxiety leads to things like impulsive decisions and chaos in your mind. And money feels chaotic, especially when you try to avoid it, guys. You know what I mean? Having some sort of clarity is uncomfortable at first, but having that chaos, especially financially, is very expensive and it will cost you in the long run. When the urge to spend money hits, don't try and fight it, but just try and pause first. You know what I mean? Ask yourself, what is it that you're actually trying to get? Are you trying to get relief from something? Are you trying to buy something that's going to distract you, or something that's going to try and validate or feed your ego? A lot of the purchases that we make are based on our emotions, how we are feeling in the moment. And without pausing, without taking that extra step to pause and reevaluate your decision, you can really put yourself in a hole. And I believe that this is where mindfulness really matters, especially as regulation for you. You don't need motivation. You just need fewer escapes. You need more discipline, but discipline isn't a punishment. It's self-respect. And wealth is built through that calmness that you are going to create because you have gotten rid of all of these distractions in your life. You know what I mean? These small decisions that you make over time, they really add up, and that's how you build real wealth and wealth that you're proud of. You know what I mean? Going through the boring days, working hard on something when you're not going to get that instant gratification today, but maybe in the future you will because you've put so much time and effort into this thing, and you have taken away all the distractions that you once had. It's going to feel so much better and so much more rewarding, not only for your mental state, but for your finances as well. Guys, there are two ways that people respond to any sort of discomfort in their lives. One, and this is probably the worst way, is to completely escape from your problems. You head to the distractions. You avoid anything that has to do with that problem, and you just numb yourself just to either forget about it or push it for the next day and then the next. But there is another way that I want you guys to really hone in on and really take advantage of this, because it's really an advantage to you because so many people in the world are distracted right now. And I believe it's such a good time to really lock in and focus on what you want to do in your life. The other way to deal with discomfort is through regulation. You know what I mean? Having a structure, being aware of what is overwhelming you and what are the small deliberate actions that you need to take in order to progress and fight this sort of discomfort that you're feeling. So guys, if money feels chaotic and inconsistent to you, I built a calm framework that helps you regulate your mind so that your finances can stabilize and you can take a breather. You know what I mean? I have it linked below, and I just wanted to let you guys know that comfort feels safe in the moment, but over time, it's going to quietly cost you. and it may cost you in forms of money or mentally because you're just going to be so stressed out. You know what I mean? But go check the link below. It's going to help you guys out a lot. Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day today, okay?